So this is going to be my ASMR kind of let's play of Assassin's Creed Unity. Now I know I'm a little bit behind in this series, what with Origins having come out fairly recently, but I've always had a problem with Assassin's Creed in that although I love the narrative and the gameplay, I get very immersed in the world, and so I want to complete all of the collectibles and platinum and get that, platinum trophy and complete everything. But they used to release a new game every single year, and that meant that I just wasn't really able to keep up with what was happening. As the new games were announced, I was still trying to complete the last one. So even though Origins has just been announced, I'm still just about to begin Unity because I don't have that much free time to play video games. Well, not as much as I would like. So this will be my let's play. I apologise if there's some background noises, but I'm also, while I'm talking, just going to be sorting out a few things around the office, like writing a birthday card to my sister. I'll try to keep that quiet though so it doesn't interfere. So, this game begins with what I thought was kind of a random sequence. I didn't really understand what I was doing here or who any of these people were, and it certainly didn't look like the French Revolution as I knew it. I came into this game knowing very little about the French Revolution, but knowing a lot about Assassin's Creed. So we have here a battle between Templar and Assassin, with the Templar just having picked up what's known as a piece of Eden. They tend to name them very obviously, so I'm going to say that that's the Sword of Eden. And in fact, having now just completed the game, I know that that is the Sword of Eden. So the Templar took it, and he appears to have hidden it in this vault, which, again, I know from the end of the game is very important, and we will actually return to it. So, I only know this having just finished the game. I think this is one of the kind of first Templars, Thomas to somebody. But I'll be honest, when I first played through, I was completely lost. So, in the main game, the main bad evil Templar has that piece of Eden, and the assassins are trying to get it back or figure out where he hid it. So here we see the Templar Order being arrested and the assassin actually managing to kill that Templar. But alas, he doesn't know where the piece of Eden is. So that's kind of how the game begins, and then I think we had a cutscene, 7 years later, showing us kind of the events that followed. So on the throne, I think it's King Philip. I could be wrong. My knowledge of history is nowhere near as good as Alex's. So here we've got a man calling out Pope Clement. And yes, King Philip, saying that King Philip is going to be punished for infiltrating and destroying the temple, which is kind of the stronghold of the Templars. See, as much as I love this series, I do think it has a crucial failing in that as someone who's played every single game up until this one, and who's read a lot of the novels, and I have spent my fair amount of time on the wiki, it can be a bit annoying when, even having followed it that closely, I'm still struggling to figure out exactly what the Templars are doing in every game, and what the assassins are supposed to be doing. So, now we switch to the modern day storyline. Now, the more recent games I've played have kind of dropped this element a little bit. I believe it's being continued in the comics, but I haven't got around to reading them yet because, well, I'd rather spend my money and play the game than spend my money and read the comics. browser ancestor assassins and seeing where they left it. So I'm guessing that the kind of framing device here is meant to tell us that the whole purpose of playing in the French Revolution as the game's main protagonist Arno is so that the modern day assassins like Bishop, the woman in front of us, can find where that piece of Eden went, the sword that we've just seen. And it's kind of amusing to me that there's an entire game built around just getting back to that one point. So this is the main narrative happening here of Arno, who is that little boy, and we see him here with his father. Now, his father's an important figure in the story, but the character actually isn't. It's more the position he holds in the relationship, the meaning he had in his son's life. So, for instance, I don't actually know the father's name, and that to me is the sign that it's not really the character that's important, but rather his meaning to other people in the story. So, here we are with Arno as a little child, and a lot of Assassin's Creed games now start with you as a young child doing a bit of an introductory segment to the core gameplay mechanics. It happened in Assassin's Creed, the one with the American War of Independence, but I've forgotten the name. Assassin's Creed 3, there we go, it was as simple as that. Happened with that one, and I actually hate these segments. I don't like playing as children, I like playing as fully formed adults who, you know, have interesting character personalities and are developed, and I just don't like being a child and running about. So one of the things I do like about Assassin's Creed though is that normally when you are in a specific interesting place from history, or you meet an interesting historical figure, you have the option to read a little bit about them. And it's sad to say that a lot of my more in-depth historical knowledge has been gained from these games, which I should probably just read books more. But I don't, I play video games. So Arno is following this as yet unnamed little girl who we assume he knows. The people who know this story a little bit better, we know that her name is Elise, and she's also an integral part of the story in Unity. So we're here learning about the follow and the run mechanic, which are really important in Assassin's Creed. You have so many missions which just involve running or following or trailing somebody. And now we have the all-important steal mechanic, which, I'll be honest, it might just be that I completely failed at the stealth aspect of this game. I never really used steal much. I normally just killed whoever I was meant to steal something from and then looted their cold dead body. We do, however, have the all-important hide mechanic, which again, I prepared stand and hold your ground and murder everybody mechanic, but this is meant to be a stealth game, so it is important that we are taught these different elements. So the kind of yellow symbol above the guard's head indicates that he's on alert and he's still looking for us, and then when the screen clears like it just did, it means that we're in the clear and they're kind of less vigilant and we can come out and continue, so long as we don't wander into any more of them or attract too much attention by doing things like jumping off of buildings, which I have been known to accidentally do. So I'm still moving through the tutorial stage. I probably won't go much further than the tutorial because I'm not going to do an ASMR let's play of the entire game unless Alex or somebody actually asks me to. But what I will do is just show the basic gameplay mechanics and introduce a few of the characters, and then that way people can enjoy this as an ASMR if they like, or just as a brief introduction to the series to see if they want to play it. A lot of people I've spoken to have difficulty with Assassin's Creed because they feel like they want to play, I don't know, Orange, the latest one that's just come out, you've got to go all the way back and play Assassin's Creed, then Assassin's Creed 2, then Assassin's Creed Revelations, then Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, then Assassin's Creed 3, then Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and then Assassin's Creed Unity, and then Assassin's... You get the idea of what I'm going in. They feel like they have to play every single game in order to follow the story. The main plot of each game is fairly isolated. For instance, we saw the framing narrative, which does continue throughout all of the different games, but the bit we're playing now and the main bit of the game, Arno's story, that will only be really relevant to this one game. It's very rare that they do run on historical plots. They started with Ezio, where they had Assassin's Creed 2, which introduced him, and then Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, which showed him kind of building up his faction, and then Assassin's Creed Revelations, which was the end of his story, and that was actually a really neat, emotional little trilogy, but they don't do that very often. They may have different links between characters in the series. For instance, in Black Flag, I believe you're the father of Hawthorne, Nathaniel Hawthorne, who is the father of the protagonist from Assassin's Creed 3. So there was a vague kind of link, but it didn't make much difference on the story. So what we've just missed while I've been talking was the little girl Elise and Arno returned to find that Arno's father had been tragically killed. And now we cut to even later when Arno is a fully formed adult, and he was staring at the watch his father's given him, and now he's in a fight with two brothers. And you can see the amazing parkour for which Assassin's Creed is known just there. That's the kind of parkour I tend to do in the game. So that's the other brother, and he's now got that emotionally charged watch, so Arno has to chase him through the streets. And this is the game teaching us the kind of chase tactic as well as the tackle one. So we've already followed Elise. A chase is different in that if you get too far away, you actually desynchronize and you have to restart the mission again. So the synchronization aspect of the game is kind of the game's way of keeping you on track with what was meant to happen historically. So if you imagine that we, the player, are playing through somebody else's memories, Arno's memories in this case, there's certain requirements we have to do in order to make sure that we keep as close to what the game says happened to Arno as possible. So for instance, all of the assassins are theoretically bound by this vow of don't hurt innocent people, and so that the game prevents you from just shooting whoever you like throughout it. I'm taking wildcats, I'm sorry there. So very cool, way cooler than anything I could have done in the game, that little slide. But if you kill, say, 3 civilians, the game will desynchronize you and you'll go back to your last save point, and it's the game's way of telling you, no, it is a freeform game, but you still have to follow certain storylines, certain pathways. You can't just completely rewrite history, so there's no way for you to, in Assassin's Creed 2, murder Cesare Borgia before he actually died in history, because he is a real person who existed at that time in Italy. I kind of like these little handicaps the game gives you, because it makes it feel more like a historical simulator than just an open world video game. I do know that to some people, for instance Alex, he doesn't like them because they feel very artificial to him, and he doesn't like the game drawing attention to the fact that it's a game saying, no, you're not allowed to do that. I think it's actually explained quite well within the realms of, well, you are in a video game and you're playing someone who has to recreate someone else's memories, or like that they've given us that plot device of this is the reason why you can't do whatever you like. In watching the footage from my first playthrough of because I did notice that I seemed to have spent about an hour just chasing down collectibles before I continued on with the main quest. So I've put a bit of that in, but I will probably cut that down to avoid everybody getting very bored. The reason for that is that I do enjoy platinuming Assassin's Creed games, getting all of the trophies, as I've already said. And unless you do a little bit of collectible hunting as you go through, you'll find that when you get to the end of the game, you still have about at least 5 hours of pure collectible hunting to do, and it can really take some of the fun out of the free running around these fantastic cities that they create, if your main object in doing it is just to randomly pick stuff up without really enjoying any story or character or, you know, any of the things that I really like about these games. So normally I try to do a lot of collectible hunting at the beginning of the game, then I'll do a couple of chapters, and then I'll go back to collectible hunting, and then I'll, you know, try to finish the game and mop up whatever last few things I need. That can become a little difficult. For instance, in Assassin's Creed Unity, this game, when I got to near the end, I really wanted to finish the story before I went back to my job as a teacher, because I'm in the summer holidays now. So I kind of rushed through the story, and I was left with about 3 complete hours of doing nothing but looking for collectibles and trophies. So this here is one of the gameplay features they've kept in from the very first game, the synchronization points, and it's very similar to how it was in the first Assassin's Creed game. In order to kind of scout out the location you're in, you go to pre-allocated, very, very high buildings or locales, and you look around and kind of to take in everything you see. And that's how your map slowly gets unlocked, and how different kind of areas of interest, like in this case, the fields of Mars, I can't remember what it is in French, Champs de Elise. Oh yeah, the Elysian Fields. That's how they kind of get unlocked. And the Militaire d'Escale, whatever the military school that Napoleon went to, going up and getting those viewpoints is how those different things appear on your map. I just started to fast forward the video now because I do a lot of collectible hunting in this part, and I don't think it would be very interesting to watch all of it in slow motion. Well, not slow motion, but regular. So you can see it's a lot of climbing and locating specific objects or chests. And I'm leaving it in because it is a key part of Assassin's Creed, and you can see on this main menu just how much stuff there is to collect through artifacts, cockades, sync points, chests. Later on, you even get other things to do, like they're called Paris stories, where you perform certain missions with just random individuals you meet, some of whom are based in history, like Madame Tussauds, or there's a famous French general in this one, who's also a cross-dresser. Or he might actually have been transgender. The evidence kind of historically is a bit blurred because they weren't as aware of things like transgender people back then. So, yeah, you complete different missions and stories with them. So we're back on the main story here after I've done a bit of collectible hunting, when the father of Elise, who is now kind of Arno's surrogate father, that guy, asks him to do a few odd jobs for him while he goes, and I think sees his daughter at this big party. I do apologise, but it's been about a month since I started this game. I think that's what's happening, so he goes off. We're told now that there's an important letter that needs to get to him, and I really hope nobody is watching this not expecting spoilers. I'll try to keep it as vague as possible, but basically it's an incredibly important letter that affects kind of the rest of the story. so Arno has to get it to him. So we have a bit of parkour here. Well, I suppose technically now we are in free running territory. I would never define absolutely anything I do in these games as parkour, because as I understand it, parkour is the act of trying to get from point A to point B as quickly as possible, no matter what's in your way, and using various cardio and acrobatic feats to do that, whereas free running is a little bit more artistic. So in free running you can incorporate flips or rolls that are purely just for style or aesthetic purposes, and that's what makes it into a bit more of an art form than the more running is a form of necessity, trying to get somewhere quickly that parkour is. I hope I haven't got those definitions mixed up, but if I have, just leave a comment or message me and I'll learn the difference. Very graceful though. So Arno's chased down the wrong carrots, and again keeping this kind of spoiler free, but that man who just got out of the carrots is an incredibly important figure in this game. So I've got to now go up to a jet spire to get a good view in order to find Monsieur Delasere, who is Elise's father, the man Arno has to give the letter to. Very graceful again. So climbing up to yet another viewpoint. I'm not sure why in the tutorial they've given us two kind of viewpoint mechanic training. Personally, one of the first things I do in these games when the map really opens up is go and unlock all of the different viewpoints. One, because it helps me get to know the maps better, and two, because it's just very beautiful. I mean, if you look at the screen now, you'll see